And so I would go in my travels and visit various coin shops in the county and buy a coin here and there. And that's when I really got hooked on the proof-like Morgan dollars, when I saw my first proof-likes. And I thought, I couldn't believe such a coin existed. Here was a coin that was struck over 100 years ago, and it almost looked like a proof. And to survive like that, I thought, well, this is what I really want to focus and specialize in. And that was kind of my area of study. And then I attended my first major coin show, which was Long Beach show. And there was a dealer there who recommended a book by Wayne Miller. And this was his first silver dollar book. And I bought that book, and I bought the second book of his that came out. And on the cover, Wayne Miller has a picture. I don't know if you've seen the cover, but there's a beautiful 1878S on the cover of that book. And it's just spectacular. I guess it ended up grading MS68PL and sold for around $40,000 when he sold his collection. But those are the kind of coins that were just beautiful and rare. And of course, 40,000 was a lot of money, but there were a lot of coins back when I started out where you could buy nice proof likes for $50 to $100, $150 that were attractive coins with a lot of rarity, and that's kind of was my focus. And then what happened within a couple of years, well, the proof likes were getting harder to find, and I was looking for something that was offered the same qualities and advantages as proof like Morgans, and that's when I came across this one dealer's table and he had a 1967 special mint set, and the $50 in there looked almost like a modern proof. It was really cameo and deep, and I'd never seen a special mint set $50 with those qualities. It was very much like a deep mirror proof like Morgan dollar, in that a deep mirror proof like has to be an early strike off a die to have that deep mirror finish. And so it is with these special mint set Kennedys. And so I remember asking, back then a special mint set was about $5, and I asked him the price, and I thought he'd say, well, $15 because of the half, and he said 75, and that was wow. But I bought it anyway, And that started me on my journey. In the same show, I came across a beautiful 1962 cameo Franklin, and it had no cameo contrast on the reverse, only on the obverse. Very heavy frost on the obverse, and I bought that coin for about $60. And that's when I really began my journey, and when I started learning about these coins, and again, seeing these one-sided cameo proofs was very interesting, because back in as I learned in my studies and research for my first book, back then they didn't replace the obverse and reverse dies at the same time. You had the obverse and reverse dies wear at different rates, and the mint, in order to conserve the dies, would only replace that half the die pair that was completely worn. So you could have a die pair where they were pretty worn, but one was completely worn, so they'd replace it. Let's say it was the obverse, and put a brand new obverse die on there, and it would have beautiful contrast. But of course, the reverse would have no contrast whatsoever, and they might strike a few hundred of those coins before the reverse die would then have to be replaced. And they put a brand new reverse die in there, but by then the obverse die would have lost its cameo contrast. So you'd have a die with a coin with no obverse but heavy reverse. So to get a cameo, you have to have a brand new obverse and a brand new reverse to get that kind of cameo contrast. It's one of the things that makes them so rare, and it's really fascinating, because nowadays the mint, every coin you get from the mint, all the American Silver Eagles, the proof sets have beautiful cameo contrast because of the technology that they have nowadays that they didn't have 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah, that's interesting.